Here is a Chexvanz. I heard this is one of the first Chexvanz that was ever made. It's a couple, I forget, down in Virginia that made this. This is a 170 Sprinter, pretty cool looking. Got some flares there, Dometic AC up top. Love the American flag on the back. And I love that striping, the brown and tan. Anyway, what I'm doing today is adding a Cerbo GX and a GX touchscreen. You can see what they have now. It's just a BMV and a multi-control. And it's a pretty nice layout. Quality build. Love the little sink and the tile. You can see over here, some of the electrical outlets and components are in weird places. This multi-control is like tucked up here in the kitchen area. Here's my new stuff. On this little wall here, we have two level gauges, water tank level gauges. We have our BMV. There's switches here, a lot of different switches. Over here's the heater, more switches, outlets, more switches, more switches, more switches, more switches. So a lot of switches. We're gonna be putting this GX touchscreen right where the BMV is, and then the Cerbo's got to go underneath with the existing power system. And down here you can see we have 5 Battleborn batteries wired in parallel. We have a Victron MPPT, Renergy DC-DC charger, and then a multi-plus and a Lynx. We have, fuses and switches back there too. There's also a smart dongle on the multi-plus. So there's a smart dongle and there's the multi-control. Everything in here is built out of Unistrut, which, or 80/20, not Unistrut, 80/20. I absolutely hate working with 80/20. If it stays together, it's strong, but over here on the plumbing side, which isn't open, there's a lot of loose hardware, so there's a lot of squeaking going on apparently. But in any case, with this Cerbo, and I'm using the S version because we're not going to be adding any other features like tanks or fans. We're just doing the straight up screen. We're going to connect the inverter to the VE bus port so that we can have some inverter control. I believe this has a VE direct port. I'm going to connect that to this too so we can see the solar info on there. And then we just have to run our USB and HDMI up to our Cerbo or the GX touchscreen on the wall. So fun little project for the day. All right, first things first is I took this drawer off the hinges because I really hate this design when builders have these fold down doors. They're nice because you can see everything, but I mean, if I put my weight on this, that would just pop those screws right out. So I took the door off. It gives me enough room. Looking inside here, a couple things I see that I don't like. All the wire gauges seem to be okay. There's an A&L fuse for the main battery protection, which is not adequate for the AIC rating, but the switches, the 4-aught is, see, we have all of our batteries daisy chained. I'm not sure why that red heat shrinks on the negative side. And we have our, main leads coming off of opposite ends of the battery bank. These Battleborns, man, they take up so much room. You could fit probably 3 Epic 300 amp hours up there. Another thing I see is this 6 gauge coming off of the 130 MPPT, right? So this can only put out 30 amps. So 10 gauge would be fine, or you could go to 8 gauge. 6 gauge was unnecessary, but again, no worries. Yeah, there was 2 Ethernets coming to the multi-plus. This one was disconnected. This probably goes to that old multi-control all the way up front. And then we have this, the smart dongle that's plugged in. So we're not gonna be using this anymore. We're gonna have a cord that goes to our Cerbo VE bus connection. But now where to mount the Cerbo, that's the question. I think I might try to slip it in over here so that it's closer to the wall where we're Yeah, that'll be fine right there. The wall where we're putting our, it's up there under that, or in that cabinet. All of our connections. So short run from here to there, and then we need that cable. We'll just use the cable that's supplied to run to the multiplus. Power will run from there, and I'll run that all the way back to here, maybe to those terminals. Oh, the shunt, the BMV should have a VE direct. The shunt, I think, is tucked all the way back under here, which is kind of a pain to get to. So we will, do I need to add a smart shunt? I'll have to look into that. If it doesn't have a VE direct, then we need to swap that out with a smart shunt, which is going to be a royal pain. Okay, so the readout is actually the BMV 712. It uses, you know, an Ethernet port to connect to the shunt. This has the VE direct port. So I just pull this back and then I zip tie this up close to the servo, and then I use a short VE direct to go from there to the servo. So you can see all this control panel on this wall is accessible via this little slide out spice cabinet. And then hopefully I can, you know, pull my wire, I don't know where it goes, down through the wall and back under the bed. And then we'll mount our GX touchscreen on there. GX touchscreen in. See back here, I pulled the multi-control RJ45 cable and spooled it up. We did have to keep the display, and I couldn't pull back the wire because it goes up into the recesses of the van. But I have our VE direct attached to it, zip tied to the wall, and then it follows the cable for the touchscreen down, 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 and then we'll pop out over here. Yay, the servo's on. There's where I mounted my servo, have all my little cables run. So power for the servo, I couldn't get to those terminals on the end of this Lynx distributor because I can't get the cover off. And I don't want to take the multiplus down to do that. So I put the power right there on the input side of that AC breaker. And then I put my negative right on that negative bar going to the DC fuse panel. So the servo power will still turn off with the main battery switch, which is good. And there's no fuse in between there except for the main battery fuse. Yeah, so let's go hop up on the screen and start programming. All right, after just a few minutes of programming, we have our GX touchscreen active and monitoring all of our systems, our solar, our battery, our inverter, our DC loads. Now, because we have a Renergy DC-DC charger, we're not able to see that current flow, but we would see that in the net current flow to the battery. So once the vehicle is started, we would see that jump up to, you know, whatever that's running at. It says 60 amps. Well, you know, maybe it's 60, maybe it's less. But yeah, now I can remote in, and they can remote in and understand their system a lot better.